Welcome, guys. This is Adam Facenda from Anchors and Eagles, and this is another episode. Today, we're going to talk about something I get a lot of questioning about. How do you start tattooing? Keep the fees. I get it often. I meet people throughout the years, and I want to make this podcast a little bit more about how to become a tattooer. Now, I believe there's about 3 to 4 different ways you can go about becoming a tattooer. So I'm going to give you my view on how you should become a tattooer. When I get a young adult or even an old adult asking me how to learn how to tattoo, I tell them these few things. Of course, you can go to tattoo school. That's fine. I don't believe in going to tattoo schools. No offense, guys. I know you're trying to make your money off of this industry, but I was taught a very old school way. My father was a tattooer as well. So to me, I think going to a school to learn how to tattoo and getting the skill that was a trade that was passed down, I do believe you should do a one-on-one course with somebody. And what I mean by course, I mean a true apprenticeship. So let's talk about this. First off, you can go to school and learn how to tattoo, and they're going to give you a certification. Now, this doesn't necessarily certify you to be a master tattooer or anything like that, but it does certify you in some way of some course that they've given. My question is, if they were doing so great at tattooing, why would they want more tattoo artists to come into this environment only to make the income a little thinner? And what I do mean by that is I always use the analogy of a small town feeding off of one well. Eventually, that well will dry up. Only so many people want to get tattooed, and so that means there's going to only be so many tattooers. The more tattooers there are, people want deals. Sometimes there's less people getting tattooed, and it's hard to survive. As a tattoo artist, your whole thing is not just being a tattoo artist. There's so much more that comes to that. But I digress. I want to talk about becoming a tattoo artist. And a lot of people have asked me how to do this. So this one gentleman asked me about the school, which we just spoke about. But I highly suggest that if you truly, truly want to learn how to tattoo, get into illustrating. Make sure that that's what you want to do. Because I don't care if you're a realist or traditional or anything like that, you're going to have to illustrate. And what I mean by that is you're going to have to be able to look at something and create it. And even with realism, these guys, sorry, no offense, guys, but you guys are using stencils as well. So you have to illustrate. If you want to be a tattoo artist, you have to be prepared to do the same thing over and over again and not complain about it, because not every day is a full sleeve or a back piece or a rad eagle or whatever you're into. Not every day is anime. It just depends on what type of artist you are. So you also have to be open to doing all types of art. Now, personally, I love doing everything, and that has really helped me with never becoming burnt out with tattooing. So what I suggest to most people is go start hanging out at tattoo shops. Go get tattooed. If you really, really want to learn how to tattoo, go sit in a tattoo shop. Make sure that's the environment you want to be in. Hang around shops. That's what I did. My father forbid me to learn how to tattoo, but I was always drawn to the tattoo industry, and I was always drawn to being in a tattoo shop. I started getting tattooed when I was 14. I started going into professional tattoos as soon as I turned 18. And I was very fortunate. A lot of my friends became tattoo artists. And I was like, wow, this is so amazing. Like, I didn't even know they were artists. And a lot of people said that about me whenever I started tattooing. But when you grow up in a family or having a father that is a great artist, it's kind of hard to shine without being criticized about everything you do. So I just stopped drawing in front of my father and stopped drawing altogether. I mean, there were so many great, talented people around me. Why in the world would I ever think that I could do it? Now, a few years later, I've changed my mind, of course, and became a tattooer. So I suggest people go into tattoo shops that they like, go and hang out in tattoo shops, and show them your artwork, show them that you're interested. I mean, there's a couple other ways you can do it. You can go to a tattoo shop. Some tattoo shops will teach you how to tattoo for a fee, and I don't see that being anything wrong about that. If you're going to a tattoo shop to learn from a tattoo artist that you like, and you like their style and you like their shop, that makes a lot of sense. Giving some money into whatever they're asking for, whether it's $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever it is, they have to put their time into you, and their time is as valuable as doing a tattoo. If the tattoo artist is doing $100 an hour and they got to give you 100 hours, well, you can do the math. If the tattoo artist is charging $250 an hour and they have to give you 100 hours of their time, once again, do the math. I don't think there's anything wrong in doing that at all. I personally have taught people for a fee, and I've also done another thing that I'll talk about here in a minute and how they learned how to tattoo. I just want to really drill into that. Whenever you go to a shop and you pay for this apprenticeship, you would go to a college or a trade school and you would pay them. So what's the difference about paying the guy that you want to learn from? I mean, if anything, it's cut and dry. Once you've taught me, I can go anywhere I want. It's an easy deal. Paid you for the time to learn how to tattoo. You gave me your undivided attention, and I reap the benefits for it. I mean, you go to college, these guys spend, tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars going to school, and then when they get out of college, they don't even have a job. They're just trying to figure it out. And most people, when they go to college, they come out, they don't even do anything that they went to college for. It's very rare. I mean, I think paying for a tattoo apprenticeship is pretty cut and dry, you know? The other thing I would say about that is most of these apprenticeships that you pay for should be setting you up. Should be setting you up with a machine, should be setting you up power supplies, stuff like that. I mean, they can also incorporate in the price of your apprenticeship, getting you the right inks, setting you on a good track. I don't know if these schools do that or not. Like I said, I don't know about these schools. I just advise against it. If you're going into a hardcore tattoo shop or like a very traditional tattoo shop, when you bring a little piece of paper in, you're probably going to get turned down. It's very rare that you would get a job there unless you're going to work for a non-tattooer. That's a whole thing that I have. I feel you should know my craft if you're going to tell me what to do in your business. I've only worked for one non-tattooer, but he and his best friend started a tattoo shop together. And he was known as the person who works the front of the shop, and then his buddy was a tattooer, but they grew up, they were best friends, and he never really saw anything in tattooing. Also, I'll drop his name. His name is Adam. He, from Blue Devil Tattoo. He was also in a wheelchair and just knew he didn't have longevity, automatically was going to have back problems and stuff like that. But he ran a really great shop, and he was very generous with what he did for everybody in the shop. I got to do many guest spots with him over in Ybor City. Amazing shop. He no longer owns it, but he's retired from it. But that was the only guy that I would have worked for just because he had so much involved in the tattoo community and he was really well known. It was a great shop. But I personally wouldn't go work for someone that doesn't know how to tattoo, because how are you going to correct me on anything I'm doing, or how are you going to identify with the situation I had with a client? Most shop owners that are just owners and not tattooers tend to side with the client versus the artist. And I mean, I look at it as we're a team, right? I don't ever really tell anyone that someone works for me. I usually say we work together. Of course, my name's on the lease, so I have to put some rules into how we keep the shop open and how we keep the shop clean. But when it comes down to it, I'm 98% side with the tattoo artist. There has been 2% of the time that I haven't, just because of the character that person was. Sometimes an artist becomes, I don't know how to say this, egotistical, that they can do no wrong in this whole environment. But sometimes you work with people that cross the line and they shouldn't do what they should be doing. But once again, as a tattoo artist and shop owner, you usually will see the side of the tattoo artist and I will defend them. And as long as they're telling me what's up with the situation, whether they've done right or wrong, I'm always going to be on their side. That's the other side of, I think, people going into tattoo shops that the shop owner is not a tattooer. Sure, that little piece of paper from a school might seem right up their alley, but not in my heart. So let's go back to getting an apprenticeship at a tattoo shop. There's another way you can do it, and it's about putting sweat equity into your apprenticeship. So a lot of people think, oh man, if I get an apprenticeship, I'm not going to make any money, like how dare they not pay me to work around the shop? Well, if the agreement was that you came in and you put time into cleaning the shop and taking care of the shop and doing what the shop owner asks of, then that is your payment for your tattoo apprenticeship. Now, I don't agree with anyone being asked to do stuff outside the tattoo shop, like, hey, go clean my house or clean my car or do my laundry. But I guess that happens every now and then. I've never really done that. I've always questioned if somebody would do that just out of loyalty to the tattoo shop or how much they really wanted to learn how to tattoo. But yeah, so if you're going to take an apprenticeship, it usually comes with sweat equity. Now, the way I was taught and the way I've done it in the past as well is you come into the tattoo shop, you say, hey, I want to learn how to tattoo. You show me your portfolio. I give you some stuff to do, give you a little bit of homework. If you come back and complete the homework, I give you a little bit more homework. And then we really start talking about what you want to do with this. If you really want to become a tattooer, or this is just a fantasy of your life that you want to do part-time, because in my mind, I don't want any part-timers working with me. I want guys and girls that are really into tattooing like I have been. So at that point, you come up with an agreement. Like the agreement was, you come in every day. These are the chores you do. On top of that, you have to trace flash, take up for the tattoo artist, help them set up and break down, all the things that you're going to be doing as a tattooer anyway. So it's kind of like boot camp for tattooing in the beginning. You're doing all these things in the shop. Just make sure that you're not going to come in and get lazy. Like, I'm a tattooer, I don't take out the garbage, or I don't sweep my own booth. Well, cool. If that's who you are, then you should probably hire somebody to do that work for you, because in a tattoo shop, it's communal. Most areas are communal. It's very rare that you have a shop where you just have one little room and that's all you have to take care of and no one else sees it. In this industry, you walk into a tattoo shop and everyone sees everything, from the dirtiest station to the cleanest station. So when you're learning how to tattoo, they're probably going to put you to work cleaning up, and you shouldn't be a bitch about it or bitch about it. Just clean. So what's the difference in it? You're going to be doing it for the rest of your life. I once had an apprentice say, I don't want to trace images anymore. I'm so sick of it. I just want a tattoo, which I found comical because once you make the stencil, you're still tracing. It's part of tattooing for the rest of your life. But anyway, so the other way you can go into getting tattoo apprenticeship is going into a tattoo shop, putting sweat equity into it. It usually comes with a timeline, 6 months, a year. I don't know. I always say as fast as you can learn is the fastest you'll start tattooing. So if you're in here more, you're going to learn how to tattoo faster, and then you'll be tattooing in a chair soon. The other part that comes with this style of apprenticeship is most people want a commitment from you, 2-3 years. So think about that. You went in, yeah, you had to put a little bit of sweat equity in, maybe 6 months for a career for the rest of your life. So what is 6 months really? The second part is once you're done tattooing and that artist that's teaching you says, hey, you have the chops, let's put you in a chair and start making some money, you instantly have a job. I don't see anything wrong with this. This is how my route was. I came in, I did my apprenticeship. I actually started as a piercer, and then I took an apprenticeship after that. So I was able to work in the tattoo shop and take the apprenticeship and do all the other stuff. So I was there 24/7, couldn't get me out of the tattoo shop. So after that, I was able to tattoo. I had already built the clientele from piercing clientele, and I was rocking and rolling and making money. My whole commitment was 3 years to the guy that taught me how to tattoo. And we've been great friends for a very long time. We have our ups and downs, and right now we're in our downs. But I'm very grateful for everything he ever taught me. And it was all because we had an agreement. I do this, I teach you this, you have this life and this career. And man, my life has been amazing through this career. It's taken me everywhere, and it hasn't stopped. I can go see the world and be able to make money. So really wanting to learn how to tattoo, I would say these are your 3 paths. Go to a school, pay for an apprenticeship, or do an old school apprenticeship with sweat equity. I'm Facenda from Anchors and Eagles, and hopefully you tune in again for another podcast with me.